As the need to better manage and integrate real-time data continues to grow in government, especially with the rise of AI, so do the challenges of cost-effectively and efficiently accessing, managing, and processing all that data securely and driving innovation. After years of moving data operations to government-authorized public clouds, agencies are coming to terms with the escalating costs and latency and complexity of these cloud environments. I'm Wyatt Cash with Scoop News Group, and here to talk about this evolving landscape is Jay Alalasundaram, Deputy Assistant Commissioner and Deputy Chief Information Officer at U.S. Customs and Border Protection. Jay, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Wyatt. Thanks for having me.
I'd like to start by asking what types of IT use cases, including AI, are getting your agency's most significant investment focus? And how do you see these investments bringing greater innovation to your agency's mission?
Yeah, thank you, Wyatt. That's a great question to start off with. I'm going to give you a quick background on my portfolio, and that would help set the tone for this question. I oversee in CBP. I oversee 4 software application services organizations, organizations that manage cargo systems, passenger systems, targeting and analysis, and border enforcement and management systems. Together, the 4 organizations, or directorates as we call them, have about 350 government personnel and over 3,000 plus contractors, developing software, over 250 agile teams, and we do our software in 2 to 3 week sprints, right? And we almost deploy code almost every day, right, to support our CBP mission. Our software development strategy is centered around 5 key principles: streamlining application development, enhancing the scalability of enterprise solutions, deliver a seamless digital experience, enterprise data management, and AI and software development. That's a new buzzword, right? Well, you asked what are our top priorities. Our overarching priority is to support CBP's mission, especially in the areas of screening and vetting. Modernization and innovation are critical to national security at every port of entry, and no less important for our officers and agents' safety and efficiency, where they can speed process, improve our ability to target all the threats that come into our country. Often, process improvements that benefit the officers also benefit travelers, right? And especially in the air environment, we've invested a lot of time and effort in biometric entry exit by partnering with our Office of Field Operations leaders. And this process, right, helps our officers identify passengers that require additional inspection. Right? We leverage the Traveler Verification Service, which is a homegrown service in our targeting system directorate, and it's the backbone of all of our facial biometrics vetting processes. We also are conducting several pilots at land border ports of entry to leverage facial biometric cameras in the lanes to expedite traveler and trade experience, minimizing wait times and increasing officer safety. We're also partnering with our other government agencies like TSA in pilots like Air Baggage Analysis Tool, or ABAT as we call it, which will allow CBP to process baggage on international flights using pre-arrival X-ray images and streamlining travelers from international flights arriving in the U.S. and that are connecting to domestic flights. Cleared travelers will no longer have to retrieve and recheck their luggage before proceeding to the domestic flight. We're also leveraging newer technologies in seamless border entry. And it's another one of our initiatives where we are partnering with our OFO leaders at select airports, including at Dallas International, where this process helps expedite the global entry travelers returning from international travel using cameras that processes multiple travelers on the move. Right? And another solution that you will be very familiar with is the Global Entry mobile app that we've deployed last year, and where passengers can process themselves and their families when the plane lands using their own mobile device. Right? And your question also asked about AI. You touched on AI a little bit. We made significant investment targeted towards supporting CBP's evolution into a more data-driven organization that rapidly accelerates the operational use of AI. Let's not just use AI for the sake of it, but where it's operationally feasible across our entire agency. I mean, this is focused on achieving real mission outcomes that are guided by larger AI principles by CBP. Right? We work with OFO and Border Patrol and prioritize investments in AI solutions for mostly risk assessment, anomaly detection, and decision making to support enhanced border security and trade facilitation. One of the examples is leveraging AI in non-intrusive inspection process to allow AI models to adjudicate X-ray images to identify threats for our officers. And we're also leveraging AI in cybersecurity, right? Which is our threat in cybersecurity has grown exponentially to over 1 billion hack attempts a month, right?
Mhm.
And we are leveraging AI even in cybersecurity scans, threat detections, and responses. CBP's priorities are endless, our list is endless, but our goal as an IT organization, we are a support organization, and our primary mission is to give the officers and agents the resources, the tools that they need to do their job safely and remove some of the administration burden from them so that they can focus on what they do best, which is responding to threats that are coming into our country, whether it's forced labor, fentanyl, or any other synthetic opioids and other threats that come into our country.
Well, it's a massive amount of things to pay attention to. I appreciate your laying that out for us. Next, I'd like to ask, talk to us a little about how you view the respective strengths of public clouds compared to private on-premise clouds and your ability to, securely manage and control proprietary and sensitive data across your agency, especially as agencies continue to adopt AI.
Yeah, we started our cloud journey around 4 to 5 years ago, right? And I will describe our current state as being somewhat transitional, right? We've migrated over 90% of our application tier to the cloud, but we still have a large on-premise data footprint, right? We're talking about 50, 40, 50, 60 petabytes of data that is still on-premise, and we still have several high-value assets that needs to be migrated to the cloud. So what we look at, our cloud strategy is more hybrid in nature, right? That leverages both public cloud, private cloud, as well as on-premise environments to balance our scalability and security of our information and data. Right? The idea is to ensure that we leverage the right technology and solution that caters to CBP's diverse operating environment. We have we support over 250 ports of entries for our Office of Field Operation personnel with technology, and over 150 plus border patrol stations across the country. Right, so no one port of entry or border patrol station is alike. So our solutions that we provide as an IT organization to our officers and agents should also be nimble, right? Leveraging the right solution for the right use case is how I look at it. Sensitive data, including law enforcement data, national security information. We try to house them in private or government authorized clouds to maintain compliance with the larger federal security standards. But we also leverage public cloud services for less sensitive workloads, like enabling cost-effective scalability, solutions for scalability or AI model training, data processing, or even modern software development. Right, all cloud deployments that we do, we adhere to the CBP and DHS specific information assurance, right, and follow the normal cybersecurity protocols, including encryptions, access control, and auditability. We focus on zero trust architecture principles, and we apply it across all of our environments, whether it's on-premise, cloud, to secure access and reduce insider and external threats. And that's our fundamental principle. Adopting a more multi-environment strategy, right, to ensure that our data is managed securely and efficiently across our pipelines, AI or otherwise.
And then, you mentioned this hybrid environment. I'm curious to get your thoughts on, as agencies deal with this growing volume of data and AI workloads, how do you view the total operating costs and, effectiveness of on-premise data centers and service stacks
Yeah.
compared to the costs of putting them into public cloud stacks?
No, that's absolutely true, right? I would call ourselves as being cloud smart as an organization, where there are on-premise advantages are realized. Our on-premise advantages are realized more at the edge in environments the mission demands, where the data needs to be present, and to support our officers and agents, for example, like Southwest Border, right? Public cloud stacks usually offer greater flexibility, allows us to innovate faster, and also is more cost efficient. And so we use those for less sensitive, scalable workloads which includes our software development as well as AI development. This hybrid approach has helped us optimize based on the use case, preserving security where it's required, while harnessing innovation and scale where it's feasible. Right? We continue to assess where the workloads reside, and with cost in mind, right? It's going to be extremely important because the use of AI and stuff is not new for us, right? But how we are also being cost effective is going to be critical in our adoption strategy. And it's supposed this approach that we've taken has been really successful for us to support our frontline officers and agents to meet their mission needs.
And then, I'm curious, as you plan ahead, you and your team, how's the expected growth in AI and also IT workloads kind of reshaping your agency's infrastructure and cloud investment portfolio planning for the future? And where do you see opportunities for cost savings?
Yeah. I touched on a little bit in the last question as well. So the use of machine learning and ML are not new to CBP. This has formed the engine for our processing and enforcement actions across all of CBP applications, whether it's cargo processing, passenger processing, or border enforcement. However, with Gen AI and LLMs, they're revolutionizing personnel and professional lives, I would say. And it's changed how we develop, test, and deploy capabilities that support CBP's men and women that perform law enforcement operations, right? Historically, we've leveraged AI models that support capabilities such as image recognition, anomaly detection, and smart surveillance. More recently, though, Gen AI technologies can leverage ML models to generate new data, support newer capabilities such as content generation and multimodal search and retrieval. Like it could be text, images, audio, video, whatever, right? And to become more common and accessible. So we anticipate that demand to grow exponentially in the next 5 years. And so we need to plan ahead. Right? We are actively planning how we invest in these solutions with scalable cloud-based infrastructure and edge computing. Our OIT team is constantly evaluating and refining our cloud strategy to ensure agility, resilience, and ability to scale processing power on demand. We are making investment not just in cloud compute, but also in modernized data platforms, SecDevOps, and across domain solutions that support software development and AI implementation at scale. We've evolved from basic cloud migration and development to intelligent cloud utilization, where infrastructure decisions are closely tied to mission outcomes. I think that's where the key is, right? Putting the mission outcomes, like do you need, what are our partnerships? And we partnered very closely with our cloud service providers, as well as our mission partners to understand what the demands are. And we were able to structure our contracts to ensure that we have resources that are elastic, and that can grow on demand with next generation capabilities like GPU clusters for AI training. And the volume and complexity is going to grow, right? We have to have the policies and frameworks, and that's going to be the key in ensuring that we stay agile and without sacrificing the control or accountability as we develop and deploy more solutions to our field.
And then lastly, Jay, I'm curious, what would you say are the most significant issues or gaps that still need to be addressed at CBP, or in government in general, to take fuller advantage of your data's potential and the power of AI?
Yeah, great question. There are many challenges, right? And it goes beyond just budget that limit our ability to transition from promising innovation from drawing board into operations, I would say. Data interoperability and standardization across CBP as well as our interagency partners is always a challenge, right? As we transition from on-premise to cloud-based, or from legacy technology to newer systems, and some of the siloed data repositories. And they limit the speed in which we can develop technologies as well as even AI adoption, right? Continued investment is needed there in data governance, and workforce upskilling. Skill set is going to be a big factor. Establishment of having those trusted frameworks and having governance around how we implement AI, develop and implement AI. Just developing AI it's for the sake of AI is not going to meet our operational demands. So the effectiveness of the AI is going to depend on availability of clean, labeled, high quality data. So that's what we're focused on, working uh, very diligently as we migrate from on-premise to cloud to improve our data hygiene and metadata standardization. Because data becomes central to AI and to mission delivery. And it's very important that we have the public trust, knowing how government collects and uses this information. Right? In CBP, we have a human in the loop architecture that allows our AI implementation to detect anomalies and that is trained to detect, right? And the information is then served to an officer and agent, and they become the final decision maker. The law enforcement officers have complete control over the outcome. That scalability is always going to be an issue, right, to meet the mission demands, because the AI is not cheap. It's also a resource hog. And our mission set, as I said, is very diverse. No one port of entry or a border patrol station is alike. Meeting the diversity of those threats in those operating environments is going to be extremely critical as an IT organization to give the tools to our officers and agents. Training requirements are going to be key, not just building them. Making sure that we can train our officers and agents is going to be key. Our end user community. Policy changes are going to be challenging. As previously mentioned, siloed perspectives limit effectiveness and efficiency. Right? It's important for us to look holistically at the scope, cost, and the impact of technology implementations, which includes AI. Right? In CBP, we are focused on developing, standardizing common services and architectures that can support our larger CBP mission.
Absolutely. Well, Jay Alalasundaram, thank you so much for taking a few minutes to share your insights on how CBP is looking to the future around AI and kind of focusing as well on some of the key infrastructure and training investments as well with your staff. So thank you so much for sharing some of your thoughts with us.
Thanks, Ivai.